Tuperos y tuperas, what is going on? It is your boy El Parcero Philly, 1/4 member of DOOP by the River. Obviously, this week is an interesting week in Union Soccer because, well, we got an awkward bye week. We had an MLS match smackdown middle in the World Cup qualifiers, and now we have to wait essentially 2 weeks until our next MLS match. So the guys are taking advantage of this break and getting some much-needed rest. So I decided to change up Duke by the River this week. So what we are doing, we are bringing you an amazing interview that I was able to get with my man, Paul Catrino from Views from the Bridge. Paul is a dear friend of mine, and he's got a fantastic soccer mind of his own. So today, it's going to be a shorter one. But what we're going to do is in the first portion of this podcast, we're going to give you that interview with Paul Catrino talking about the dying topics of Union Soccer and what went down on Friday night against New England Revolution. And then I'll give you guys my take and my thoughts on what happened on Friday night. So, guys, sit back and relax. And if you guys could, make sure you guys like the video and subscribe as well to El Parcero Philly's YouTube channel, and as well subscribe to Philly Sports Network. You can find it on YouTube as well. And, of course, you can find it Duke by the River wherever you stream podcasts. You can find it on PSN Radio. You can find all of Philly Sports Network's podcasts on PSN Radio. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Paul Catrino. All right, Tuperos y tuperas, today joining me now on the Duke by the River guest line, it is my brother from another mother, one of my favorite Tuperos, Mr. Paul Catrino from Views from the Bridge. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Dude, I'm so pumped up to talk Union Soccer with you. It has been a while. Obviously, COVID, derailed that a little bit from all of us, but man, it's such a pleasure to finally talk with my brother, talk about the Union, man.
Hell yeah, man.
And
it's all we used to do.
Yes, sir. That's all we used to do. And you know what? I know you're feeling good, my man, because I was catching a little eye what's going on with the U.S. men's national team, and I know you're feeling good this morning, man.
I mean, God, it's just you can't really put words to seeing Mark and Brendan. Like, those two guys had to see each other right after Brendan scored that goal, and it was just like, dude, look at us, right? Look. Who would have thought? Not me. It's gorgeous.
Eating a cheesesteak, and look at us. Look at us.
Yeah, right. That's wild, dude. I mean, I'm not totally convinced on their product, but I could care less. Short term, that was a great moment last night. So I'll take those little day-by-day victories.
I mean, I'll as long as those two are playing, I'll enjoy the U.S. men's national, because those are my boys. Those are my boys. They're my little guys. But Paul, no. So really wanted to get your thoughts. Obviously, it's been a while since we talked about the Union, because obviously we have a long layaway of a break here. But the last match, last Friday night, at home on fireworks night, nonetheless. There was nothing less than fireworks on that Friday night as the Union fall 1-0 to New England, and that goal was absolutely, yeah. It was one of those goals you just kind of wanted to smash a beer can on your head or smash your head into something. Just watching Finley and Flock arguing over who was supposed to grab Polster was just like, guys, come on.
Like, please just figure it out a little bit.
Right. We're better than this, guys. Right. And second half, obviously, the red card by Traustason, and then of course everyone's favorite New England player now in Philadelphia,
Henry Kessler.
I'm sure Sons of Ben is coming up with the chant as it is, but first off, what I wanted to ask you, my man, I haven't really gotten to ask you the dying question that everyone's wondering in Duke Nation. It's like, what is up with the attack? I wanted to get your thoughts first about the attack leading up to New England, and obviously, New England we had a lot of kids and a lot of new players. But what's your thoughts on the attack leading up to this match?
I mean, wholly inconsistent. They're clearly. I mean, it's clear that with Davo, they hope they're bringing in someone who will be able to maybe fill one of these roles that have been far from consistent in regards to how they approach games. I mean, we all love Sergio, but he gets hurt and he can't really play every single game. We all really want to like Casper because he's very marketable and he's very much likes the city. But my God, man, you need to be a little bit more clinical with your finishing. And it's little things. It's little It's little bits of effort. It's little bits of I don't know. I haven't. There's no sample size to say what a great, fantastic Union attack looks like, besides from
Hmm.
when we were rocking with Brendan. That's yeah, and of course he plays a different position, so you can't really look back on your Union season and be like, wow, why can't we be like this? Because we haven't really ever had that, and you just kind of hope that's where the big change has to be. We can
Right.
talk about replacing a midfielder in Brendan and a center back in Mark, how they're two best players, but you don't have anyone that's going to scare an opponent up top. You just don't.
I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, you nailed it on all the topics there. But I mean, Brennan to me has really been difficult to kind of replace. I mean, you know, guys like Daniel Gazdak, guys like Boris Dochkal, the style. They facilitate. Guys like Marco Fabian, he sometimes likes to do it a little bit more on his own, but Brendan brought us like that perfect balance of someone who was a workhorse. He was able to facilitate and he could score a goal on his own. So we really, I feel like we have been missing that. But to me, also, I love Leon Flock. I love the tenacity he works with, but as an attacker, I don't know if he's that polished yet. I'm not saying he can't do that. He's still pretty young. I mean, even the US is even noticing it as well. But
Yeah.
for me, it's the midfield. The midfield has been exposed. I feel like that compactness that midfield was on defense kind of has been getting exposed, and then on the attack, like I'm not seeing that flow. Like I'm not seeing that link up from the back line to the forward line, like you mentioned. You mentioned Casper on his own. He 1 minute it's like Casper the Great, but then he disappears. He becomes the friendly ghost,
Yeah.
like we like to call him. So it's just definitely been rough, man.
Yeah, and it's like you're looking at there's so many good pieces in that Union midfield, but you
Yeah,
don't have anyone to cover for El Brujo when it comes to having to like chop someone down. You don't have accountability at any of the shuttling midfielder positions because one of them's a 20-something-year-old kid you just bought from Germany, and the other one's your captain who you're afraid to bench. And it's like Bedoya's had those moments where it's like he's not able to help out his teammates in that deep lying midfield because he's so tired. It's because he plays
yeah.
all the time. It's just rough. Like, they do have the ability to rotate and everything, but it just doesn't seem like Jim really wants to. If
You,
he's got his top options, he's just going to go that way.
I love Jimmy Boy, but it's kind of like the Roy Kent effect when it comes to Alejandro Bedoya and him. He just
Yeah,
loves Ali, and I love Ali, and I don't want to talk about the day. We have to talk about his retirement because I'm going to be really emotional.
sure.
But that's his guy. That's absolutely his guy, man. But I want to ask you as well, because obviously the story before the game was the lack of players that we were without, because obviously World Cup qualifications, and of course we have to play while no one else is playing. But the kids got some play, and obviously a lot of fans were excited about it. I saw there was a guy who was sitting in my section that was saying, "Man, I don't care if they're kids. This is the best soccer I've seen all season." I was like, "Okay, well if you enjoy that, by all means." But what'd you think of the kids, our four homegrowns that started out there?
They played with energy. They played like they wanted to really be out there and, show that they deserve to be out there because they do. And
That's true.
yeah, I mean, they just do. It's a shame that it's not a shame that there's so many young, talented kids on this team that they just can't spread out those minutes like they can, especially with a lack of an open cup. But, they looked energized. They look like they actually have been playing together for years and, had good link up moments and were not afraid to run directly at defenders, which is what no, because it's great when you have someone who wants to run directly at a guy on a
Hmm.
diagonal and you have to force a center back to come out of position, or you have to have someone from a fullback position come over to close that lane, and that's where more runs start opening up. I don't know. It feels like when you have the normal starters, you have like a little possession based game where it's like get the ball here, and it's like,
Hmm.
all right, now where do we go? It's like no, just run at it, and you can start unlocking these channels. And when you don't have a guy who's willing to go at it and would rather just facilitate, it's not that great. It's not that fun to watch because it's like very lethargic in the build up. At least this game, had moments of like, oh, oh, hey,
Yeah.
there's like, yeah, I get why people really liked that. I mean, it's fun to watch. It's just like, sure, you might not get the exact result you need, but it was very, very good to see energy from these kids, especially when you're missing a lot of leaders in that lineup. You know, they were able to hold their own, even though New England had missing players as well. But
That
like,
is very true. Very true.
yeah,
So ironically enough, I really felt like that right side of the Union attack, they looked like they had some sort of chemistry brewing up. Obviously, a lot of kids on that side. But you know, I love Nathan Harrell. But the link up with, I felt like with him, Quinn Sullivan, and Paxton Aronson, and I mean a little bit of Ali as well. But that, I felt like that was a lot of fun. And Quinn Sullivan's first touch, holy crap, man, it's
yeah,
absolutely ridiculous.
he knows how to set himself up, and it's like that's what made Brendan so good. It was like he didn't even have to be facing his own goal. He could get the ball and know exactly where to put it the first time, so that he's already in a positional advantage to beat his man. It's
Right.
like that's gorgeous. You have to. That takes so long to learn
Yes.
to feel your defender like that, and he's so young to be doing it.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. I really was looking forward to the 4-2-3-1 because this season I feel like the 4-4-2. I love the 4-4-2 diamond, but obviously teams are kind of starting to figure it out. I'm like, gotta try something a little bit different. So I wanted to see the 4-2-3-1, but we just didn't have the person. We I don't in general we don't have the personnel, but we really did not have the personnel. I just did not think that Leon and Quinn, as good as they are, those aren't the positions for those guys, and it was really was tough to watch at times, man.
Yeah, and it's funny because like you bring in a guy like Jesus Bueno who's supposed to be replacing El Brujo, and it's funny because like you could play those two next to each other in a 4-2-3-1, and that's gorgeous. You know, like that's instant chemistry you already have between those two, and nationality and play style alone. Like you do have the option to do that going forward, which
Right.
is why I'm telling people not to panic because our new signings aren't acclimated yet. And everyone's like, we do this every season. It's like, well, you're just going to have to keep doing it,
It wouldn't
honey.
be
Because,
Philadelphia,
like,
man.
yeah, it's just the way it is. Like, yeah,
Pretty much.
they're going to be okay. They have talent. We don't need to go out and win another trophy this year for this to be successful. We need to see how we handle this new territory of being a team that now has eyes on it, and European and other really good clubs want to take our guys. Like the market's
Right.
just opened for Philly, and we need to get used to that. We need to get used to the quick turnaround when it comes from success. Okay, now you've gotten worse. How do you get yourself better very quickly going into your next season? And as of right now, they're like just floating below that bar of being able to do that. It's very much the consensus that we're not sure if the Union are going to be able to acclimate to that style of this new MLS.
Yeah, man.
But there's still more season left.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, to that point, I mean, you know very well here in Philly. I mean, you are also a passionate Sixers fan. We lack a little bit of patience in our fan bases. Because I think we see like other cities, like, you know, it's tough when you see Boston up there. You know, they're always winning, and now New England's the rivals are pretty solid. So we just lack a little bit of that patience. But I do agree with you. This is a long-term project. I mean, look, if you're seeing these kids who aren't even like legal enough to drink, legal enough to buy a pack of cigarettes, which I hope they're not smoking cigarettes, right? But if they're able to do that on a pitch, future looks pretty damn bright. I definitely must say there, man. But you mentioned it with Jesus Bueno. What to you? What is your expectation of Bueno once he is fully acclimated with the club?
Well, it's someone that could actually, maybe stay for a while. And I say that while knocking on my wooden desk because it's very much one of those things where, if he explodes, the eyes on the city are already very big. Like the market alone is enough of a point to send a scout here. But the fact that you've got a guy now who's going to be like, you've got DeVry who didn't play for us damn near all season, and he's about to make really big. He could be making a big impact for a Serie A team like very soon. And you're clearly seeing that on the international stage, our guys are shining and they're paying more dividends than the other guys that are on this national team. So I like that Bueno is coming in to learn under someone who's basically the exact same player as him.
Right.
And that's great because if the Union have done anything right in their time of existence, it's been pairing up young players with good veteran players to teach them how to go about it. And that's been going on that way before Ernst Tanner came to town.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even so, like, Bueno comes from Deportivo Lara, where he was a captain at 19 years old. I should tell you his pedigree right there. So I do have to ask, because obviously Justin's crazy kit collection. Will a Venezia FC kit be in Paul Catrino's closet by season's end?
Should be in by month's end. I already ordered one. No, I already ordered one. Well, yeah, so I found it off of a website that is not the Venezia website. I will not reveal my source just right now. But I got it for pretty cheap. You can't get it customized. So what I'm going to try to do... No, hold on. I got the away kit, by the way, not the home one. So once it gets here, I'm going to try to take it to Sub and be like, listen, I only got this jersey because there's a Union player on it. I don't care if you use your MLS lettering on the back, because it's sexy. I like the new MLS lettering. It's pretty good.
It is.
Throw this on the back of my kit. Here's $20. Like, just give me De Vrij number.
That's a pretty sick idea. I love where your head's at all the time. That is a pretty sick idea.
If you look for it, if you could pay $120 on the Venezia website for a customized kit, and you'll have to wait a few months because they just don't have any anymore. Or you could get one from somewhere, and you might save yourself even like $60 or $70 doing it this way. So.
It is a pretty sexy kit, I will say. It is a pretty sexy kit.
Yeah, I can't get over it. The color scheme is gorgeous. Their execution is
Kappa.
So damn good.
Solid job. Usually they do a solid job. Yeah. Except for these bland Napoli kits. I don't like that. I don't like that.
You're biased, but
Paul, let me ask you, because I feel like you're most well known by in the Unionverse, as I like to call it, as the guy who would ruffle the feathers, I guess we could say, of Ray Gaddis. Obviously, he is no longer here, but I wanted to get your opinion on that position, because I feel like we've seen 3 different guys now play that right back position for the Union now consecutively, right, starting wise. Bizo, Powell, and now Harrell. I wanted to get your thoughts. What do you think now about the right back position?
Well, I do need to see more from Powell, and if I'm seeing a bit more consistency in build-up, I would really like to see him going forward. It's not a knock on Bizo. I think he's doing very well. They're a bit interchangeable, because if you need sturdiness, you should default to Powell.
Right.
If you want to bring more to the attack and you want to play the diamond and you need that width, you should maybe go Bizo. It's a kind of good situation to be in, because none of them are like the clear favorite, which means they just have to keep challenging each other in practice. And that's kind of just how it should be. Like if you look at the key core positions, those guys should be like, yeah, you already know they're going to be there. But when it comes to right back, you're not spending millions on a DP right back. You're never going to try to target just, that one position, and that's your only off-season thing you have to do. But they both have things that they bring to this team. And at this point, I do like Powell. I'm giving the slight edge to Powell, but I need to see more on the Union side, instead of just because he keeps getting ripped away for international play. And I'm like, what is consistency with these guys? Like, it's not going to happen. At least this time around, which you hope with a month to go left in the MLS season, once it gets there down the line, they're able to kind of just hang back and, really do what they need to for club.
I agree. I agree with you there that with Powell, what you're getting. I feel like you said, he's more sturdy, he's more stronger on the defensive side, where Mbizo's more his strength is on the attack. And if only I feel like Nathan could have a little bit of, he could be that guy where we're asking for a little bit of both, but I think he needs more of that seasoning. So I do agree.
Yeah. It's never a knock on him. We all know how talented he is at his level. It's just, you don't get to just pick up that game speed right off the bat. And
Right.
I feel like a lot of people saw him being marketed to Union fans at the beginning of the season and just assumed he was going to walk in and that was it.
Yeah.
But Jim knows more than we do. He can
Right.
see, like, you know, when he's catching up, and yeah, he'll get there. He'll get there. A lot of these homegrowns are going to get there, whether it's with us or not. They're all super talented. They just
Super
are.
talented. And can we get you started on as the person to start the campaign for Ray Gaddis on the Ring of Honor of the Union?
You want me to be on that?
I want you to be the president.
You. He's going to think it's a joke if you
Full
send it over
circle.
to him.
It's full circle, Paul. Full
Well,
circle.
I mean, that depends. No, I can't. I won't start your conversation with what is the standard for the Ring of Honor based on performance versus longevity. That's up to the union to decide. I don't run a professional club, but
if what's his name, Gauskas from the Cavs can get his number retired with the Cavaliers, I think Ray can get put on that wall. I'm just saying. Before we move on from New England, Henry Kessler, obviously, there was a lot of talk. A lot of us were heated. I was in Sons of Ben. I felt like I wanted to jump out there. Obviously, wasn't going to do that. But there's a lot of talk about, it's just time wasting. I felt like he could have seriously hurt someone. And I want to get your thoughts. Like, is it justifiably so what he did?
Sorry. No, I didn't mean to take off my headphones for that. Did I think he was going to hurt somebody? No. Do I think it was shithousery at its finest? Yeah. I mean, it just is. And, we all want to talk about time wasting, and we all think that the game is above that. And, we don't want that in our game. I get it. We don't want to waste time. We want to watch more action, more everything. That was kind of fun. and even at the extent of pissing off Union fans, I get why he did it. The pointing and clapping at the fans, not cool. I'm totally fine with them pushing him down the tunnel and being like, get the hell away from our supporters. No, you're done. Goodbye. Like, you did what you had to do. But the whole, getting rid of the ball is if someone did that on our team, you absolutely know he'd be like, that was pretty cool. That was, I don't know, man, 89th minute and he's doing that. It's like, but then falling over, the fake, he gets hit and then he falls over. No, trash. Get rid of it. No, don't like that. But the clearing the ball thing, I was just like, I instantly, I was like, oh, I was like, I needed to keep myself in check to be like, what kind of player am I? I'm harmless at nature. I just want to have fun. Right. And that just seemed like Kessler's like, if I do this now, my teammates are probably really going to be like, hey, good job, man. Good job. So I get it. That said, he kind of sucks.
I will say it definitely, listen, it's the rivalry is real here. People are doubting it. It's real. And it's crazy. For people who don't understand our love for this league, it's for stuff like this. Because now, next time we face off against New England, my blood's going to be boiling at another level. And I feel like a lot of Union fans are going to be the same way. And I think that just adds more to the game. But remember, guys, respect. Have some respect. Have some sportsmanship as well there.
You're all there for a game, remember?
Yes. We're there to support our guys, not to be a-holes. All right. So before we let you go, my man, you started this fantastic club, Sporting Serotonin. I kind of wanted to give you that spotlight and just talk a little bit about Sporting Serotonin and what's the goal with this, my man.
So, playing in Casa, the Casa League is amazing. So many good captains and teams. That organization is trying to do so much for the Philly community. They really are. And I really just wanted to do something that was oriented towards just enjoying soccer. I've been on teams that have been uber competitive. I've been on teams that have been super dysfunctional and no one likes each other. And it hasn't been fun. It's like when soccer becomes a chore, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Especially when you want to just go out and play. and play with people you actually like. Yeah, it's like, and I'm not subtweeting anyone here. This is across my grand experience of soccer as a whole. I have met a-holes at every walk of life in soccer. And now I found this core group of dudes that really just want to go out and play. It's like, we're going to get good jerseys. We're going to market ourselves well. It's all going to look great on paper. And I said in our captain's meeting to a lot of people, it's like, look, you're probably going to beat us a lot of the time, but I guarantee you're not going to have more fun than us, because we are going to go out and have fun before the game, probably during the game. If I slide around, I'm joking all game. You can ask people who have been like strikers playing up against me as center back, and I will be joking the whole time. Like, just trying to get in their head with like little compliment. Like, I'm paying people compliments just to like distract them. And if that increases my game, so be it.
He just told me nice touch.
Yeah, right? He's like, yo, could you stop being so fast? Like, honestly, could you stop?
The heck said that?
Yeah, but it's because people are good. Like, people are fun. They go out to play soccer for different reasons. Our reason is because we just want to go play. And if it's in a structured environment with jerseys and uniforms and people taking pictures, so be it. Like, that's cool. But
absolutely,
my biggest thing is that I want to create a team for people that want to enjoy soccer and not have to worry about, oh no, I might get benched next game because I'm like not good. I'm like, dude, I'm not good, period. And I don't care. Like, that's not what this is about. So I'm very much it's all about just going out there, and we get to do stuff afterwards. And we get to like promote that soccer is more than just trying to win a trophy. You know, our slogan might as well just be happy to be here. Because it's just, we all are. We're all just happy to be here in a soccer community that's growing. And now we have an identity to it.
And that's the best way to live life, my man. I absolutely love the thing you're doing here with Sporting Serotonin. Guys, by the river, all of us on the panel here, we're in some sort of way here for Sporting Serotonin, part of the team as well. But you know me, Paul, when I look at this sport and I look at this country, I know it's not where it needs to be, but it's stuff like that that definitely helps. It's that community coming together, playing a sport. You know, some might not understand it, but just give it a chance. And that's all it is, man. It's all about the love of the game and just having fun at the end of the day. Love what you're doing.
Yeah, and I really do appreciate it. I have a couple of your co-hosts joining up the team as well. I'm sure I'll convince you to play in the spring at some point.
Yes, sir.
See you getting 1% better every day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know me, I'm like El Brujo without the red cards and without the karate chop. I don't got that in my arsenal.
See, I'm the opposite of El Brujo, but I do get red cards sometimes. That's for very strange reasons.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Paul, my brother, man, it is always a pleasure talking Union Soccer with you, my man. You know how much I love you, and seriously, thank you so much for coming in, Clutcher. You were, I made the joke in the group chat. You really came up. You were like Quinn Sullivan or Anthony Fontana, like in the 80th minute. That's how clutch you were.
I'll take Fontana. That's cool. My Italian brother, man.
Awesome stuff,
guys. Feelings mutual, brother.
Yeah, brother. I love you. I love you. Guys, you know where to find Paul Catrino. Find him on Twitter. And it's a great follow. I'll just say that it's a great follow. You might not agree with what he says, but that's the beauty of sports. We don't have to agree on the same things, but he's got some absolutely great opinions.
Yeah,
Paul?
And it's like, I always love interacting with people, and if you're wrong, like, that's cool and all. I'll fight you on it. And then we'll go out for a beer afterwards. It'll be great.
Hell yeah. It's the best medicine. Just get drunk with them, right? 100%. Paul, my brother, we'll talk soon. And that is right, guys. Big shout out and a big thank you to Paul Catrino. Fun time, and it's always amazing chopping it up and talking Union Soccer with Mr. Paul Catrino. Look, I just wanted to add on kind of to what we talked about already. I loved what I saw from the kids on Friday night. Already right off the bat, you're handed a bad deck of a bad hand, right? You're out 7 key players on your roster, especially Andre Blake. Like, what do you do without Andre Blake, right? But you got the kids in there, and as much as I loved what the kids gave us, I did not see enough from them. right? I do think that those guys still need some seasoning, some more experience out there on the pitch. But there was definitely some bright spots. And like we talked about, the 4-2-3-1 made the return. I was happy to see the 4-2-3-1, but we just did not have the right personnel. Playing a Leon Flacca as a wing, he definitely cannot play as a winger at any time. And the same, I mean, Quinn Sullivan looked a little bit better as a wing, but I think his skill set for me, I think he's a forward, some sort of a forward. I think he could be a 9 maybe eventually down the line, but he's got some holding ability to him, especially with that first touch is absolutely ridiculous. So I think that this future is bright for a lot of these kids. I mean, Paxton Aronson, I don't think he's scratching the surface of what he could possibly be. We've seen some flashes. We've seen a little bit of what he can do, but I think that we are going to see some more of what Paxton Aronson can do. It was a tough match. I don't think that the MLS should have made New England and the Union play each other. I know why it happened, because obviously they had to reschedule because of the Union having to play CCL on the 15th. But it's just a tough circumstance. Now, when it comes to Henry Kessler, look, I didn't agree with what he did. I get it. It was shithousery. It was fun. Paul loved it. I didn't enjoy it whatsoever. But I will say I do enjoy the fact now that the rivalry is real. The rivalry 110% is real between the Philadelphia Union and the New England Revolution. You know, it's crazy when you beat New England 6 straight times. Now you haven't beaten New England in 4 straight times. So the rivalry is 110% real. So going forward, I will say I think I'm sold on the fact that this team needs to. It needs to shuffle the play. It needs to be more of a rotation with these players because, you know, Quinn Sullivan, Paxton Aronson, Jack McGlynn, and heck, even Nathan Harrell have shown you that they deserve to be put out there more often. And it wouldn't hurt to have some sort of rotation. I think that when it comes to Club America, which we'll get to a lot next week when we get back to the pod and we get to normal podding, I believe that when it comes to Club America, we'll still put out there the strongest starting 11. And more than likely, that'll be Kacper Przybyłko with Corey Burke or either Sergio Santos. And in a midfield diamond of Daniel Gazdag, Jamiro Montero at that left shuttle midfielder, El Brujo Martinez at the 6, and Alejandro Bedoya at the right. Or if you want to go Leon Flach at the 6, I think Flach or Martinez should start at that 6, either or. Your back line of a Kai Wagner, Jack Elliott, Jakob Glezes, and the right back. It's interesting of what you do right now. I think in that game, I think I would go with Olivier Mbaizo again, and then of course, who else but Andre Blake as your goalkeeper. But the Friday night match definitely showed us that the youth is definitely here to stay, but. Unfortunately, we still have the issues of the link-up play, and I've talked about it plenty on the podcast. I still am not seeing enough link-up play between the back line to the midfield to the forward. And, you know, we talk about it. You know, we're talking about attack. Who's going to score goals? This team clearly lacks a killer. But, you know, we just talked about Kacper Przybyłko with Paul Catrino. Kacper, in the biggest moments, does not show up, and that is a problem as well. You know, this past week would have been great. You are missing so many key pieces. You're playing with a bunch of kids. It would have been great for you to show up. And just flat out, he didn't. And it's been an issue. Since that great start to CCL, where has Kacper Przybyłko been? And these are all serious concerns for the Philadelphia Union. Now, I do like that Jamiro Montero can play as a shuttle. Can be someone that can drop back deep enough, get the ball, pick it up, and move and play as a shuttler. I think he can do that. I think I think for him, I know Jamiro loves to be the guy. I know he loves to be that, but he's not the guy. It's proven he's not the guy. But if he can add to that creation, that link up, that'd be big. Obviously, Brujo's not doing that for us right now. And I can't expect much more than Alejandro Bedoya. And I don't understand the absolute hate with Alejandro Bedoya. We do this too much here in Philadelphia. It's not just with the Union, it's with Philly sports. I mean, for almost a decade now, you know, this whole city hasn't appreciated a guy like Claude Giroux. And now we're doing the same thing to Alejandro Bedoya. The guy's older, and it's tough to keep up, especially with a lot of these young kids and the amount that Jim Curtin is expecting from Alejandro Bedoya. I think now I'm in. You guys got me. You guys were saying, hey, listen, we know what we're talking about. You got to play the kids, and you guys got me. I agree. I want to see some more rotation. I want to see some more of the kids. They gave us a spark that we generally needed. My boy Nathan Harrell out there showing off his skill. I don't think that was a penalty, by the way. The one that led to the goal, that set piece. I don't believe that was a penalty. That's just my honest opinion. But I will say, too, teams do know how this Union team plays. It is not too complicated to figure out. Excuse me. It's not too complicated to figure out how to stop the Philadelphia Union. It's not. I think this team needs to get creative a little bit. And that's why I wanted the 4-2-3-1. Now, when you come back fully strong and at full health, I do believe that I would rather see the Union try the 4-2-3-1 with speedier guys like a Corey Burke and a Sergio Santos, even though it's probably not their natural positions. But something, we need to try something. And the only reason why I want the 4-2-3-1, it's because of Gazdag. It's because of his skill set. The guy's a facilitator. The guy's more of a Borek Dochkow. And I think in a 4-2-3-1, he's easily more able to facilitate the ball. Now, I mean, that still does raise the problem because who is going to get the ball to Daniel Gazdag as a 10? That's still an issue as well. Friday night was still ugly. It was still truly ugly. I mean, the fact of the matter is, I know you're playing kids, but you're down 10 men to a New England side who also is missing key pieces. I know Carles Gil was able to come on in the second half, but no Busca, no Buchanan, no Turner. And they made Brad Knighton, former Union Brad Knighton, they made him look like Matt Turner might as well. You got to take advantage of that opportunity. You got to. And, big shout out to the Union players who defended the fans. What Henry Kessler did, again, like I said, I don't agree with. But then him going at it with the fans, take your ass back into the dressing room and get your ass back to New England. And shouts to the players sticking up for the fans. The fans do the same for the players, and I love that the players did the same thing for the fans. That was a crazy night. I was there. At the moment that Henry starts looking at the fans in the River's End, starts making the whole gesture, literally, most of the River's End starts coming up to the rail and are ready to just pounce and drop into the field and start swinging off at Henry Kessler. It was pretty hilarious. It was one of the most exhilarating moments, at least for me, watching a Union match. I brought my girlfriend to that match, and she even said it herself. It was the most entertaining Union match she's been to. And she's been to at least 15 Union matches in the 3 years she's gone to Union matches. But again, it adds to the rivalry. The rivalry is real. We know Philly and Boston don't like each other in other sports, and now we got it in soccer. We heard Jim and Bruce going at it last year in the MLS. Was it the MLS back? I think it was after MLS is back. But you heard Bruce talking about Jim and his whole system. He's finally learned how to beat it now. You got all these New England fans just, talking all this smack. The rivalry is real now. Red Bull, you can step aside because the rivalry is absolutely real here with the New England Revolution. Guys, we'll be back at it next week for DOOP by the River. Wanted to keep it short for this one. Just wanted to give you my thoughts, my 2 cents on what went down on Friday night. I'm ready to move on. And then after Club America, it's full throttle to the MLS Cup playoffs. We have to figure out this attack situation. You want to make a run in the MLS Cup playoffs, you got to figure this out. I'm not writing off this season. I think there's still plenty of soccer left to be played, and it's okay. I think. Listen, we saw what happened last year when they had all the accolades, right? Super Supporter Shield winner, #1 seed in the playoffs, and we saw what happened. Upset first round. Let's go in as underdogs. That's when we play the best. Let's go in as underdogs. But regardless, as Paul said, this whole season has been a learning experience for the Union. We made it to the semifinals of Champions League. That's a step. Supporter Shield last year. First playoff win the year before. You're taking small steps. This is Philadelphia. This isn't Boston. We don't win all the time. You take those small steps. You take those small victories. And we move on. So next week, guys, we'll be back at it. We'll make sure you guys do follow Duke by the River so you can find out when that next podcast will be. Hopefully, we'll have our full panel of Duperos, as I like to call them. And as they'll make their return back into Duke by the River, we'll be previewing the Club America match next Wednesday the 15th. It's finally here. Ladies and gentlemen, do not forget to like this video that'll be on YouTube, on El Parcero Phillies YouTube channel, and subscribe to El Parcero Phillies YouTube channel. And also make sure you guys do subscribe to Philly Sports Network. All the live portions usually do get put out there, unless it's Tuesday, and of course that's Flipping the Birds Tuesday. So shouts out to Flipping the Birds. And of course you can find Duke by the River wherever you stream podcasts through PSN Radio. You can find that on Apple, Google, and Spotify. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm 1/4 member of Duke by the River. I am El Parcero Philly, and I'm telling you guys to Duke on. Talk to you next week.